Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So today I am doing some winter Christmassy homemaking. I am getting ready for, of course, Christmas season, and so we've been kind of busy over here. Basketball started, there's just been so much going on, but I wanted to kind of show you what I do on a normal Christmas day. So I'm putting dishes away right now and getting ready to, I am prepping some dried beans for dinner. So I simplified a lot of our menu, especially with as busy as we've been. And one of the things that I like to make that's just cheap, easy, is I make these really good dried pinto beans. And so tonight I'm planning on doing bean and rice burritos with homemade tortillas. And so I was just gonna get this stuff started. So I start with a big old soup bone. The reason why I started adding my beef soup bones in when I make my beans is because the only other recipes I can really find, we don't like bean broth. I'm much more of a chicken broth person, so that's what I normally make. So I started just putting the soup bones in with the beans, and it gives the beans a really good rich flavor, and you get some of that collagen out, and kind of basically you create broth as you're cooking the beans, and I honestly think it tastes amazing. So I do 2 cups pinto beans, and I think it's 5 cups water, and I put about a tablespoon of like seasoning salt because they generally are kind of on the bland side. So I add a decent amount of salt. Obviously you don't have to add that much, but one of my favorite ways to eat beans and rice, honestly, is just to eat them plain with just some seasoning salt, or I like to put some green salsa on, or regular salsa. The nice thing about beans and rice is you can totally dress them up, and they just make a really nice meal for just quick and easy. The kids will at least eat some of it. My kids are very, very picky eaters, and so I kind of have to do my best to manage that, to make sure I can make things that they'll actually eat, on top of trying to keep things healthy. We decorated for Christmas. It's been a couple weeks now. I did film it, but then we got so busy I wasn't able to really post it, and so I've just decided to move on. So one of the things, today's Monday that I'm filming this, so one of the things that I'm actually enjoying about Mondays is that the kids actually go to school a little bit later. Our school does a late start every Monday. It's a way to give teachers extra time in the, like, extra prep time during the week. And it actually is kind of nice because I feel like my mornings start a lot slower. My kids don't have to get off to school until later than, it's like 2 hours later than they normally would. So I find myself just kind of taking my mornings a little bit slower. So I'm just kind of tidying up the living room. We had a super busy weekend. We had a ornament decorating party and a cookie exchange on Saturday. And then Sunday we ended up, one of our vehicles is no longer working, so we're looking for a new vehicle. So we went shopping for a new vehicle, and I don't know about you, but I get so stressed out about that kind of stuff. So I didn't get anything really done until this morning. So there was a lot to do, a lot of just tidying up, resetting the house, because it was just so messy. Because I feel like on Sundays I kind of run out of steam and I just want to sit and relax. So that's kind of what I did. And so I just kind of taken today, just my goal today is just to get a lot of things done. So I'm folding up my cloth diapers. As you know, I've been cloth diapering my youngest it's been a few months now. I actually kind of wait until they're closer to a year old before a cloth diaper, because I feel like I cannot manage cloth diapers when they're that much younger. Part of it is I got these diapers really inexpensively from Amazon, and they work great. They're pocket diapers. Then I use these extra, basically the pre-folds inside them, to kind of make them a little extra absorbent, and it works really well for us, so we're not going through like a bazillion diapers a day. But I don't know, I find like folding laundry kind of relaxing sometimes, and it's always nice like when you're done and you have this nice pile of clean folded stuff, and then you can move on to the next task. Kind of resetting my table, because we had a big tablecloth on it, and it was more decorated more festively for this season. But during kind of our normal like day-to-day stuff, I don't put all the fancy stuff on the table, because my kids are really messy and I'd be washing that tablecloth literally every day. So I'll probably redo it next when it's actual Christmas time, and then the tablecloth will stay on throughout all kind of the Christmas festivities. So something I have not done in a long time, I've kind of gotten a little bit out of the routine, but I'm trying to make bread this week. I really like this. It's a really simple sandwich bread recipe that I got online, but I'm actually kind of thinking of trying to find one that's a little bit more, I don't know, this one works well enough, but as you see in the end, like one loaf rose really nicely and was like an actual sandwich loaf, and the other one did not seem to rise that much. So I was a little bit disappointed, but of course we eat the bread so quick that it doesn't really matter. But I'm kind of hoping to get back into making bread more often. I just think it's better. The bread that we used to buy that was kind of healthier, because I have a kid that we just try to eat more healthy for her. Like, it's like $5 a loaf now, and I just feel like I could do it so much cheaper if I just make it myself. So while the yeast is rising, I have enough time to sweep the kitchen or the dining room floor. Like I said, it's really messy. There's just papers everywhere because my kids were just playing. I think they were doing crafty things at the table on Sunday, and so it just kind of ends up on the floor, it seems. But it's okay. Sweeping doesn't take that long. So I'm just adding all the ingredients to get my bread started so I can get it in the bowl so it can rise soon. I think it takes like an hour and a half for it to rise the first time. So I will say, I do not do sourdough bread. I like the idea of doing sourdough. I might try it in the new year, but my kids do not like it. I've tried to make it in the past and I've never been able to get it right. And so I do want to try to actually figure out how to do it the right way. I feel like my loaves always end up super dense, and I think that's an indicator that like your starter is not very mature, but it seemed like I couldn't get my starter to mature. And so I don't know. Maybe it'll be something I'll work on this next spring. But my kids prefer this type of bread, so we just use regular yeast bread. And they like it. It tastes good. I like it. And I feel like it works well for our family. So I'm taking a little break and finishing my coffee. That is, of course, gone cold by now. And kiddo got up. She actually ended up going down for an early nap today. So she got up, and yes, she does have marker on her face. She's had a bath, but it seems to have not wanted to come off all the way. So she will probably get in another bath soon in the next couple days because she got into sister's markers. Then we got little Miss Kiva all ready for the day and just kind of chilling, having lunch. Honestly, this is another thing I like to change in the new year. I do a lot of quick foods for lunch because it is just easier for me. Looking at my goats just chilling on their we made that little structure for them to play on last year, and they seem to still like it. But as you can see, it's super foggy still. It's like lunchtime and it's still super foggy. That's just kind of the normal, what it's like here on winter days in the Pacific Northwest. It's just really rainy and foggy and dreary. So hopefully we'll get some sunshine coming soon, but to be honest, it doesn't really happen a whole lot this time of the year. So you can see one loaf rose really good and one loaf didn't rise as good. And maybe I didn't put them in as evenly, but either way, they both tasted good when they came out of the oven. So that's always a win. So now my next goal is to figure out how to properly store the bread to make sure that we are not, it's not going to waste. I need to get some good bread bags. I guess that's something that I haven't done that I need to try. So I'm fixing my Christmas dress. So I actually made the whole dress, and then it was way too big for some weird reason. So the pattern I used is a Pinterest pattern. And one of the problems with the I like the pattern, the style's great, but one of the problems that I have is that the girl, of course, that did the pattern is like very petite. And so what she says to do doesn't really work for if I want it to look nice on my body. So I ended up, I followed her instructions, of course, like waist measurement and how you do all that, but then I must have overestimated because I was off by almost 10 inches, which is really annoying. So I ended up actually making the front panel of this dress, and then I redid it, and I think when I redid it, my calculations got off. So I'm actually cutting off a good chunk because it was I needed only like about 10 inches of the elastic part that I'll show you in a second. But so anyway, I had to cut off a big chunk of it to make it fit my body, which of course is, I was kind of excited that I had to make it much smaller, but of course a little frustrated that I didn't quite get it figured out. So I'm just gonna sew, I'm actually sewing down the middle of this thick band. It's a 3-inch band because I'm putting 1-inch elastic in it, and I had actually put in the elastic without sewing down the middle, and it just did not look good. It just like rolled and stuff. So this will help stabilize the elastic. And then I was so happy with how the skirt turned out, and you can tell in a minute. So the bread was done in the middle of my sewing, so I had to pull it out really quick, let it cool on the stove while I go back and finish up my dress, or my skirt, I mean. Doesn't that look so good? So now all I have left to do is just sew the seam back together that I took off to shorten the skirt. And so once that was done, then it was pretty much done. So I am not a like great seamstress, to be honest. So I was really excited when this came out really good, because this is something that I'd like to get a little bit better at. I like to make some of my own clothes. I need to figure out where to find cheap material. I've heard a lot of people say get like bed sheets. Didn't it turn out so cute? So I just put on a quick sleeveless black shirt, this, and then I have another long sleeve black shirt that I think I'm gonna wear with it, but it turned out so cute. I love the way it looks on me. Cute. I feel like it's a very flattering style for pretty much anybody. It kind of gives you a little bit of a waist, and it's got a little bit of a poof out. But I really liked it. I was so happy. A little bit better. I can kind of show you. So yeah, there's elastic right here, like 10 inches. It was like 6 inches by the end of it. It's normally supposed to be half and half, but for some reason I made the front part like 10 inches too big. So I'm really happy how it turned out. I keep dancing in it because I was so excited. All right, so the bread is now cool enough, and I got to take a test slice because that's what I like to do. And I love the corners of the bread, are always my favorite. But it's really fluffy, really delicious, and putting on just a little bit of butter, it is like the best tasting bread. Super simple. It's like, what, 5 ingredients, if that? So good. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next video.